ziv olam, nafshi cholat avotoch. Ana elna rafana lah, beharot la noam zivach, az titchazek v'titrafi, v'hayetalach shivchat olam. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai dai dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai. And on page 11, L'chun Ranana. L'chun Ranana l'Adonai, nari al etzur yishenu, nekad mafana b'torah, bizmirot nari alo, nekad mafanav b'torah, bizmirot nari alo, ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher be'ado mecharei haaretz v'toach otarim lo asher be'ado mecharei haaretz v'toach otarim lo. On the English side. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth's deep. Mountain crests, too, are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. The last Hebrew stanza on page 12. Arbaim shana kutz v'davram arm toei levavhem v'hem lo yidu drachai asher nishbati v'api im yavon el menuchati. And when you look at the bottom of the English side of page 12, you see Psalm 95, and then on the successive pages we have Psalm and Psalm and Psalm. Psalms are religious poems, and there are 150 Psalms in the Bible. Some of the phrases are very familiar, some are not so well known. These Psalms, numbering 8, 7 plus 1, represent the 7 days of the week leading to Shabbat. There's another song which is well known in our modern Jewish tradition, and it's Hine Matel, which also comes from the book of Psalms. It's on our song sheets tonight. And we'll begin in just a moment with the song sheet. The first song is known as Hine Matel. First song sheet is entitled Suheretz Hine Matel, and some of us are familiar with a variety of melodies from Hine Matel. It comes from the book of Psalms, and the significance of this phrase is its perspective. It's optimistic perspective, that it's important for us to come together And anytime Jewish people come together, whether it's to sing, to pray, to work, to clean up, to eat, just being together is a beautiful and pleasant thing. Hine matov.
Tov, hine matov, umanaim, shever achim, gam yachad. Hine matov, umanaim, shever achim, as we travel along the path of our lives, it's the people we meet who can change us. If we are willing to see, truly open our eyes, we'll find a song within that binds us together. Tov, hine matov, umanaim, shever achim, gam yachad. It's the people we meet who can change us. If we are willing to see, truly open our eyes, we'll find a song within that binds us together. Hine matov, hine matov, umanaim, shever achim, gam yachad. Hine matov, umanaim, shever achim, gam yachad.
And on page 21, Mizmor in the Siddur, a sung poem, a psalm. Mizmor le David, havu l'Adonai bnei elim, havu l'Adonai, kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai, kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai, v'arat kodesh, kol Adonai, halamayim, elak kavod hirim, Adonai, almaim rabim, kol Adonai, ba'koach, kol Adonai, behadar, kol Adonai, shover arazim, v'shaber Adonai, et arzei halvanon, v'yarkidem kemo egel, Levanon, v'siryon, kemo ven re'emim, kol Adonai, chotzev lahabotesh, kol Adonai, yachem midbar, yachil Adonai, midbar kadesh, kol Adonai, yachol el ayalot, vayechesov, Ye'arot, Ovehechalol, Kulo Omer Kavod, ay, 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 Adonai, Lama Bu Yashava Yeshev Adonai, Melech Leolam, Adonai Os, Liamo Yiten Adonai, Yavarech Etamo Vashalom, Yai, Rai, 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 Yada, da, 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 Yai, Rai, 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 Yai, Rai, Rai, Rai. And on page 23, the first two stanzas, page 25, the last two stanzas of L'Chadodi. L'Chadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'di borechad, hishmiyanu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, ushmo echad, l'shem multiferet, v'litila, l'echadodi, l'ikrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, l'ikrat Shabbat, l'chol v'necha, ki mekor ha'beracha, merosh mikedem, Nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lechadodi lekrat kala perei Shabbat nekabala yamin usmo tiferot tziviat Adonai taritzi al yarish ben parzi v'nismecha v'nagila lechadodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha uvetzala toch emunei am segula Bo'i chala lechadodi lekrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Yai rai 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 yara ra 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 rai 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 yara ra 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 rai 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 yara ra ra rai rai Pnei Shabbat nekabela. And we turn now to page 28. As we're seated on page 28, this is the conclusion of the Psalm for Shabbat on page number 28 on the English side, page 28. The Psalm for Shabbat. Look at the top and look at the second stanza, and we'll continue. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish, all who commit evil will be scattered. What's the definition of an enemy of God in this psalm? The definition of an enemy of God is someone who does evil. Anybody. If you do evil, according to the psalm, you're an enemy of God. So the converse would be that if you do good, you're a friend of God. So this psalm is talking about two things simultaneously. One is an obvious, one is the message you've got to find within. Yes, sir.
Okay. What about if you are a good person, but you are not Jewish? You're not an enemy of God, are you? Or
you're a good person and you're not Jewish. So that's a very important comment. It's a very insightful comment. So I think there are at least two ways of responding to that. The first is, let's consider the intent of the original writer or composer of these psalms. Some of these going back 3,000 years, some a little bit younger, 2,800 and 2,500 years ago. But they're written in the land of Israel. And I would imagine that when they're first being composed, they're being composed with the intent of being uplifting, sung poetry for Jews. However, some psalms do include the mention of Yisrael by word, and some don't. So therefore, the second response is, how do we receive it today? Which is a legitimate method of discussing any text. What does it do to us inside ourselves? And that's what I'm looking at. And I'm saying that it doesn't say Jewish, non-Jewish, pagan. It says that if you're an enemy of God, you're defined by that because of how you act. And therefore, if you act in another way, I think it's conveying the message that each one of us can be a friend of God. Yes, ma'am.
So what are considered evil acts then?
What are considered evil acts?
Murder.
Okay. Murder's a very big one. Are there smaller acts that are evil?
Well, couldn't you, like, the command, the 10 words?
Look at the 10 words. So, and some of those in the Big Ten are, for example, telling a lie in court, cheating other people, obviously theft. Evil would be something that breaks apart a relationship between people. That's evil, yes.
But then what if you did something evil and then you did something good? Does that counteract? Or are you still judged by your first act, which means you're still evil?
If you do something evil and then you do something good, does the good deed outweigh the evil? And I would say, depends. If you do an evil act towards person A, and then you do a good act towards person B or the environment, did you still harm person A originally? And so therefore, does the good deed affecting person B or the environment fix what we did to person A? And that's on my mind because we're now 2.5 weeks away from Rosh Hashanah, and we're starting to think about how do we walk in our daily lives. And there's a great emphasis on how we interact with each other, people we know very well, or people we know occasionally, or just people we bump into. And of course, how we interact with between ourselves and God. These are great points. Thank you very much. Shkoyach. So in response to that, look at the second song sheet, which begins with Yehi Shalom B'chelech, which is one sentence from one of the Psalms. It's a very short piece. It says, Yehi Shalom B'chelech, which is from a phrase in the book of Psalms, may there be peace in your walls and tranquility within your palaces. The Hebrew is Yehi Shalom B'chelech, Shalva Be'armenotayech. We're praying for peace in all of our locations. Yehi Shalom.
Yehi Shalom B'chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. 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 Yehi Shalom B'chelech Shalva Yehi Shalom B'chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'chelech Shalva Be'armenotayich. Yehi Shalom B'chelech Shalva be'armenotayich.
On page 39A, Baruch Hu, on page 39A.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
We are seated. The English on the bottom of page 39A.
Baruch atah Adonai, our God sovereign, time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, who will set the succession of seasons, and arranges the stars in their places of the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings the evening dusk. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamidim Lo Chaleinu L'Olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'arif Aravim. On page 40 on the Hebrew side. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avtam Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shachveinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu v'orech yameinu u'vahem negeh yomam v'layla ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu la'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema on page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu advarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavacha yom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shiktecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachtecha v'tumecha u'kishartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot beinecha u'tapam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha
moment of silence from page number 42, perhaps in silence. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Please turn to page 44, Michamocha. It's about the fourth line down on page 44. Michamocha Bo'elim Adonai Michamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Norati Lot Osefele Malchutecha Ra'uvanecha Bokea Yam Lifnei Moshe Ze'eli Anu V'Yamru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed V'ne'emar Kifada Adonai et Yaakov Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. The last two words of that tefillah speak of protection. That's Ga'al. Ga'al means protection. And in a moment we'll turn to the Hashkivenu. But before then, I ask you to look at the other song sheet. It's entitled Lev Belev. And some of the elements within this contemporary song, Lev Belev, are speaking of feeling the heart, understanding how there is challenge. And in some lives, there's pain and hurt and sorrow. And all of us are aware of people who are experiencing different challenges. And that's why this song is here tonight before Hashkivenu. Lev Belev by Beth Schaefer.
paths for us to find. Lave, belave, heart and heart. When my hand stops, your hand starts. In a circle of love that has no end. Belave, heart and heart. God's been with us from the start. In this complicated world, you'll need a friend. And so I'll keep you close to me. Belave, when we yearn for God's touch, we hope all pain will go away. In an instant, in a moment, be renewed. But as we work together toward that sacred, peaceful day, we learn that God heals each of us through me and you. Lave, belave, heart and heart. When my hand stops, your hand starts. In a circle of love that has no end. Belave, heart and heart. God's been with us from the start. In this complicated world, you'll need a friend. So I'll keep you close to me. God will be with us as together we will stay. Lave, belave.
On page 45 in the center, it says some women on Shabbat, but we don't. On the English side of page 45, Ashkevenu. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel. And over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The top of page 46. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti la'olam, oti la'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'rit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Yikadal vikadai shmei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirute, be'amlich malchute,
B'chayechon v'yomechon, u'b'chayegecho ben Yisrael, ba'agala, u'bizman kariv, ve'imeru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, ba'alam l'yomei almaya,
Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitramam v'yitnaseh Yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Kedusha
Brechu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran ba'alma v'imeru. Amen. We rise to the silent prayer, the Amida, page 47 through 52, or an opportunity to devise our own private silent prayers. number of weeks ago, I took the kitchen trash out of my home and I walked to the end of the driveway and put the trash in the big trash can. And I turned around and lo and behold, behind me there was a small baby bird. And it must have fallen out of the tree literally within the time it takes for me to walk from my back door to the large trash can because I didn't see it before me. So I turned, there it is. And so I ran to consult the wildlife expert in the family, namely my wife. What do I do? And she came out, she said, we need a shoebox and some rags and pick it up. And I was afraid when something is that small and that delicate that I'm going to injure it. She said, pick it up, put it in the box. She gave a little cup of water. What do I do? We'll deal with it tomorrow. It's 10:30 at night. So the next morning I called the Environmental Center located on Kirby Road, which is a terrific resource. It's part of the Mobile County Public School System, and it does education about wildlife in the area, and occasionally it tries to help rescue injured wildlife. And I spoke with a gentleman, and he said, what kind of bird is it? I don't know. He said, send me a picture. So I took a picture, and he said, okay, it looks like it's a baby hawk. It's this big, covered in down. He said, I think it's a hawk. I can't quite tell. I said, so what do I do? He said, okay, put it back up in the tree as high as you can go. I said, me? Okay. Now you need to know something about me and trees. Trees are there and I am here. And he said, it's okay. I'll tell you what to do. He said, all you need to do is build a nest. I said, me? Build a nest? I'm the least Paul Bunyan guy there is in the world. He said, I'll tell you how to build a nest. He said, you have a milk crate? I said, yes. Perfect. Okay, go get some twigs and leaves and put it in the milk crate and put the bird in the milk crate and climb up as high as you can in the tree that you think it may have fallen out of, me, and wedge it in, and hopefully the mama will come. And so, with a lot of encouragement from my wildlife expert, named my wife, I climbed up into the tree and I got it up maybe 8 feet off the ground, and I wedged that milk crate with the baby bird in it. And I said, do we put food and water? He said, no food, no water. Because the baby has to be able to call out for its mama. It needs to be hungry enough to make a cry. And if you satisfy it, it won't cry out, and there's a decreased chance that the mother bird will come back. So other than the water that I had mistakenly put in the night before, I didn't have to dig with worms or anything, thank God for that. And so left it alone. And for a number of days, I resisted the urge of climbing up near it to see, because I was thinking that if indeed it is a hawk and mama came, I don't want to be attacked. And I also thought it'd be a good idea just to leave it alone, give it some space. And I checked a couple weeks later, and there's no bird. Now, I don't know if it flew away. I don't know if mama came at some point and fed it enough to take care of it. I don't know if a critter came along. Who knows? But I did wash this before I brought it in to show you. So this is the nest that had a former baby raptor in the tree. And, and I mention this because of one of, for me, the most exciting and intriguing mitzvot in the Torah. And we read it tomorrow. In tomorrow's Parsha, there's a mitzvah that's described as following. If you're walking along and you see a nest of eggs or birds, and you want the eggs or the fledglings, what do you think we have to do in order to take the eggs or the fledglings? We have to shoo the mother bird away. And then you're allowed to take the eggs or the fledglings. And we have to remember that 3,000 years ago, you didn't buy eggs at the grocery store. If you were lucky enough to have a bird, fowl, or lucky enough to find eggs, those were yours. And perhaps you want the fledglings to, by the way, in the ancient days, people used to race birds. So maybe you wanted the fledglings to train them to race them, or maybe you thought that they would yield eggs when they grew old enough. There's no reason given for this mitzvah in this part of Deuteronomy tomorrow. Why do you think the Torah commands us to shoo the mother bird away if we wish the eggs or the babies? What do you think?
You don't want the mother to be upset.
We don't want the mother to be upset. It makes perfect sense. Although the reason it's not spelled out in the Torah, it makes a lot of sense. It's obvious that we are understanding that animals have feelings too, especially when it comes to protecting and caring for their young. And what's striking to me is, and other commentaries have noticed this, of the 613 described mitzvot in the Torah, 3 mitzvot bear a reward, a consequence, that if you do these mitzvot, there will be a benefit to you. The first is honor your father and your mother. The second is, if you wish the eggs or the babies, shoo the mother bird away. And the third is, when you're engaged in commerce and somebody is coming into your business, you have to have fair weights and measures. If it's a pound, it's a pound. And when you build your scales, you've got to have accuracy in your weights and measures for daily commerce. 610 other mitzvot don't have a consequence. These 3 do. And it's all the same. The result of having fair weights and measures, of shooing the mother bird away and honoring your father and mother, is that you're going to have a long life. You're going to have a long life. God's will is described from the point of view of Torah as being wrapped up in your daily behavior. And it's a very specific type of daily behavior that merits your long life. Caring for animals in a very specific way, which sounds a lot like honoring your own father and mother, and also making sure that not on your watch is a fellow person cheated. And all this flashed through my mind as I was speaking to the man from the Environmental Center when he said, build a nest. And I'm thinking, I'm as far away from building a nest and climbing a tree as any person on the planet. This is my nest. But it worked. Most of us, I think, tend to describe Jewish observance in light of Shabbat, high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, giving tzedakah this way, going to the synagogue, saying some prayers, maybe saying the Hamotzi at home, being involved in Jewish community events. That's how we tend to frame our Jewish lives. Like you, that's how I frame my life. I never thought I'd be close to the mitzvah that's known as Shiluach Etaken, the Hebrew name for shooing the mother bird away from the nest. Never in my life did I think I'd be close to fulfilling that mitzvah. But with my wife's help and the man from the Environmental Center, I got close. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because it's a fun story. But it's a way that you'll remember this intriguing mitzvah that most of us don't ever think about. And the point of this story is that I want us to be on the lookout for opportunities to do mitzvah that we're not accustomed to doing. We've got hearts. We've got very good minds. We have skills and talents. We have souls. We have connections to God. As we go out into the world, let's be on the lookout, not only for Jewish observances that are a bit more frequent and customary, but for opportunities that are just a little bit different, that maybe we never considered the possibility of doing before. But by so doing, we'll make a difference in the world. And who knows? We may just merit long life. Shabbat Shalom. We rise the Aleinu, page number 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latei gedula li'oseh reshit, shelo asanu k'noyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'yor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu she'unot hashamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mimol u'shchinatu zo b'golei meromim hu Eloheinu ein emet malkeinu efesu atom k'katu b'torato yodata yom v'shevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mimal v'al haaretz mitachat enod. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch la'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yihyeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. We'll be seated. In a moment, we turn to the Kaddish on page number 58. Page number 58. And on this Shabbat, we remember with great love Billy Kahn, Abe Levine, Eddie Grodsky, Willie Berman, Lena W. Fisher, Leslie Kramer, Mary Kellner Bronstein, Irene Berger, Beth Lubell Neal, Esther Blitz Siegel, Bessie Brown, Arthur Grodsky, David Plotka, Sarah Grodsky, Amelia Morningstar Loeb, Libby Ledezhensky, Bess Malkin. Are there any other names to mention this evening? Perhaps somebody at home is joining in, is also with us and offering a name in his or her own home. And we're remembering all those whose lives were stolen from all of us by Hamas on October 7th. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'olma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon u'b'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizaman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'olma v'imeru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. And we always say shalom at the end of a Kaddish. When you say Kaddish. For who? Please turn to page number 59. This psalm is now with us for the past almost 2 weeks and for the next almost 5 weeks. It's on page number 59, recited every morning and every evening as we approach Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and then halfway into the holiday of Sukkot. And there are a number of commentaries as to why. But for now, if you look at the upper third on the English side, and you see the little red transliteration, Achat Sha'alti, immediately above it there is a stanza of 3 lines. One thing, join me with that stanza, please. One thing I ask of Adonai, this is what I seek, to dwell in the house of God all the days of my life, to behold God's peacefulness, and to pray in God's sanctuary. And I think we can understand this is a tone that is appropriate as we anticipate Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Achat sha'alti meit Adonai ota avakish. Achat sha'alti meit Adonai ota avakish. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot bin Noam Adonai olavaker behechalo. Lachazot bin Noam Adonai olavaker behechalo. May we have shalom in the week ahead. Shabbat shalom. To all those joining in, we hope to see you at some point in the near future, hopefully here. May God bless you. You're part of our lives. We offer you love. Shalom.